Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly webinar series. I am super excited about today's webinar because it is something we have never done before. There will be no PowerPoint presentation. It will just be our faces this morning. So grab your pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. And we are super excited about this topic because we have Jennifer going to be talking to us.
Good morning.
And it's different because we're actually sitting right beside each other, but
Yeah.
we wanted to be sure that we had two cameras going. But she's gonna answer your questions to help you make it the most of the support we offer here as your FMO. So before we get started, a little housekeeping things. I am Adrienne. I will be your host asking the questions. And we have Jennifer Harris, our director of the entire brokerage department with us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you guys this Thursday morning. So I'm happy to jump on and answer any questions. That's what I'm here for. And I think Adrian's got some questions for me as well. So please be interactive with us. Some of you are new, some of you have never worked with us before. And this is your opportunity to ask all the questions that you want. If I don't know the answer, I will certainly circle back with you and get you that answer.
Yes, she definitely will. And please, how the questions will work, I believe if you're on the Zoom, which it looks like there's quite a few of you on here still joining, find the Q&A box, I believe is what it's called on your end, and you will just ask questions directly to me and then I will read them out for her. But we did do a survey beforehand, seeing what questions you might ask, your FMO, and so you guys came up with some really good questions and I think some really tough questions. So I'm interested to see some of these answers myself. So thank you so much for participating in providing those questions. And so I organized them to kind of help us have a conversation. Okay. So let's just dive right in. So the first one, we're going to talk about the big picture.
Okay.
So what are some of the most common mistakes you see agents make when it comes to utilizing their FMO?
I would say one of is not knowing what your FMO has to offer, right? I think your experience and what you're going to get the best and the most out of whoever you choose to partner. And I hate the word FMO because it's FMO, IMO, all of the different things, but I really don't look at us that way. I look at us as your partner. And when we're successful, you're successful. When you're successful, we're successful. And so I think one of the biggest mistakes is just not getting to know who your partner is, what they have to offer, because we have lots of things here. And sometimes I tend, Adrian, to talk about things that are going to be asked to me later. But so I'm going to give a brief overview of some important things to ask when you're deciding who to partner with. What kind of service do you provide? What kind of technology do you provide to help me with my day-to-day life? And, how can you help me through the contracting process? And then just knowing what is the best for my clients out there. So those are just little bitty things that we can dive into later. But those would be the most important things for you. Get to know who you're working with.
Yeah, those are some great questions. I hope that you all wrote those down. And I don't see any questions coming through on the Zoom side, so I want to make sure everything is working smoothly. I see Steven said the fearless leaders are here. Thank you, Steven. And I know that Zoom sometimes has a delay, so please type your questions in now. I mean, it could be from anything that what you're trying to grow your business to, or even if you want to share some advice, just interact with us and find that Q&A box. So you mentioned some questions that agents should be asking, and so this one will be more specific to Eldercare. So what are some specific resources Eldercare offers that you wish more agents took advantage of?
The service after the sale. I think that's so important. The heart of what we do is servicing you so that you can service your clients. And the thing that I hear all the time is, I didn't know that you guys would do that for me. My agent service team is one of, I would put them up against anybody in this industry. They're going to be there to help you with all those, your back office that you're not having to pay for. And whether that is staying on hold for 30 minutes during AEP, giving quotes, illustrations, all of those different things. That would be really, really important. And I wish more agents knew that all the things that we did, I say this all the time, Adrian, you don't know how good we are until you have a problem and you need us to fix it, because that's what we're here for, is to fix and help you with all of your problems out there.
Yes, I was actually talking to an agent yesterday that I hadn't talked to in a while, and we were like, well, it's a good thing because they haven't had any problems
Yeah.
that they've needed us for, but we're always there for sure when something comes up.
Yeah.
And I do see some questions coming through, so I'm excited to tackle those.
Awesome.
But I'm gonna continue with these. So let's talk about contracting.
Okay.
A lot of agents get stuck or delayed here. How can they avoid common contracting issues and streamline the process?
So there's a couple different routes for you, right? So there's couple different scenarios in which that your contracting would get held up. So let's say that you've decided that you're gonna move a certain contract from one FMO to another FMO. I think knowing ahead of time that, yes, I have that contract, yes, I need a release or I don't need a release. Knowing all of those things, making sure that all the states that you want to be appointed with, that you have the license. If you're incorporated, you have a license both for your corporation in those states and your individual. Contracting is a very cumbersome process. Sometimes we try to make it as easy as we can. It's another department of ours that I'm like, this is the first impression an agent gets of an FMO. If we mess things up here, then that's the way they're going to feel that everything is going to be. So sometimes it's out of our control. Sometimes we're reaching out to the agent because you've missed a signature. So we try to make it easy, but in order to do that, know all the things that you need prior to contracting with any carrier.
Okay, and someone had mentioned that they're brand new, and so they were, they're in the process of getting their credentialing, and like, who would they contact, like if they have contracting questions?
So we have a team of 4 contracting. Julie Henson is the head of our contracting, and so she's been doing this a long time. You can reach out to any of our contracting. I'm gonna give them a shout out. Wendy, Jenny Lee, Julie or Jessica can help you with any of these questions. Even as far as when if you're deciding you're getting a corporation, we can guide you. This is the website you need to go to get a license or a non-resident state. So reach out to any of them and they can help you with any of those questions.
Great. So can you walk us through how your team, which I love saying that because we are a part of your team, helps agents with carrier escalation or problem solving when something goes wrong? You mentioned that, that's kind of where we shine, but could you give us some examples?
So I would say, because we've been in this industry a long time, we make it a point and a value add to us is to create those relationships even with those carriers. Finding a person, my mentor in this business is like, find somebody at that insurance company that you're going to become friends with that will help you a little bit more than somebody else if you're just calling and them answering the phone. So I think we have tried to establish those relationships. So instead of calling a 1-800 number, we have a personal phone number with a personal person that helps us fix and dive into problems. Now, I'm going to say that there's not every problem we can solve. There are not every issue we can solve, but we will certainly work as hard as we can to resolve issues for you. As long as you've done everything on your end as well as the agent. But that I say is really important. Even advice for you, because we're not the only ones that can create relationships with these carriers. When you have a certain carrier that you're riding, you all know what that is, right? So we're creatures of habit. So if there's one company that I'm consistently riding, that I'm going to try to find somebody, if I have issues, that I'm going to get that app pushed through a little faster or an issue fixed a little faster.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good thing to know. And so let's say they do have an issue. I mean, how does that process look like? Who do they contact?
So you can reach out to your marketer. We have in our office, it's called like a yellow sheet, that is bright yellow that we bring to our agent service team, or you can reach directly out to our agent service team. That's a 911 ticket, that will fill out all the information. As long as we have, like, if we're checking on a policy, we're going to have all the information, policy number, date of birth, name, all of those things. We'll ask you those questions, what the problem is, and then we'll submit that ticket, and our agent service team will get to work on it.
Okay, very good to know.
Yeah.
And I do see a lot more questions coming through. Thank you everyone for submitting these. These are gonna be really great questions. But I'm gonna keep going. So when it comes to submitting business, how can agents make sure they're doing things right the first time?
Well, I would say take the time to train yourself, take advantage of our trainings as far as if you're doing e-apps, which is the majority of how business is done. Those e-apps are fantastic compared to when I started writing business in the paper app, because if you submit it and there was a problem on it, then it was just a huge delay. These e-apps, you can't submit it if there's a problem. So if you're trying to submit business, I would say make sure you know how, where, make sure you have the right rates, make sure you have all of those things, and reach out to us if you need help with any of that training.
That is super helpful. So this next part is going to be very key for those of you that are growing your business. So how do you support agents who are building teams or wanting to move into agency growth?
So I've seen a lot of this lately.
Yes, we have.
Right?
We've had agents, I think, twice a week in our office
Yes.
since January.
Yes. And so you just have to establish what your goals are. If that is building a team of 1, 2, 10, 15, know that you're not going to get to that biggest number immediately, but there are things that we do to support your growth and wanting to grow, and have agents underneath you. And I get the question a lot, Adrian, is where do I find these agents? Like, how do I bring them onto my team? Well, there's a couple different ways, right? If you're going to events, which seems to be the industry thing, is attending different events, grabbing those agents that have like mind, like goals that you do, and bring them in as you being their mentor. I think a mentorship in this industry is so huge. Now we can give you the tools. We can give you a list of every agent that's licensed out there, depending on the state, and you can call and try to recruit. But I feel like that grassroots marketing, even on trying to build an agency, seems to work a little bit better. But we will support you in how to grow. There are lots of tools for agencies as well that we have, marketing type dollars that we have for agency growth and all of those things. So if you're looking to build a team and you've got a team, I would say that would be a separate conversation for us to talk about individually, and we could sit down and line out some goals for you, for over the next year, 2 or 3 to 5 years that you want to do that growth.
Yes. And then so we're going to kind of take it back and say, there's a lot of new agents too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can be feeling very overwhelmed when they're getting started. So what advice would you give to someone who's just getting into the business and they're getting started with Eldercare?
If you're just getting into the business, right, there's a couple different steps. You've got your license, you've got your contracts. We're going to be really good at telling you what carriers that you need in your briefcase to be able to service whatever that is. But I would say to not get overwhelmed, pick one product, learn, become an expert on that one product, Don't try to do all of them at once. You're going to add those additional products in as you get more confident in this industry. But when agents are trying to learn both, let's say, just for example, MedSup, Medicare Advantage, sometimes that's a little overwhelming along with the certification. So pick one product, become an expert in it. Let us help you become an expert in it, and then add the other ones in as you grow.
That is great advice. And I love getting to work with new agents.
Yes.
I'd love to be a part of that story.
And with new agents, let me just say this.
Yeah.
We kind of have a system of what,
Mhm.
a training system where we're going to do a Medicare 101 with you, Medicare Advantage 101, and we kind of put it in place for a reason, a timeline. Like if they haven't done Medicare 101, we don't need to do Medicare Advantage training. You need to know
Right.
the beginnings of it. So we can help with you with that. And we have lots of trainings and lots of people that can help you in
Yes,
that.
we go in the right order, so
Yes.
it's less confusing.
Yes.
Okay, so those were some of the questions that had come over prior, so now I'm gonna jump into these live ones. So Bill had asked, do you have a Spanish speaking department?
We do not. I believe we do have one person that can speak Spanish,
Mhm.
and that is Jessica in my contracting department. But I do know that a lot of the carriers, if you're talking about, have Spanish marketing pieces. Integrity has a bunch of different language marketing pieces, so we can help support you in those. But as far as being able to call in, you can talk to Jessica, but we don't really have a department for that.
And then Donna had asked, can you provide an easy way? I feel like the word easy and this next word I'm gonna say don't really go in the same sentence. But can you provide an easy way for independent brokers to track their commissions as they grow, as their business grows?
Um, so easy, there's no easy
That's
way
good.
with tracking commissions. I just had this conversation with another agency last night. You can log on to the carriers, look at your commission statements, but sometimes you're like, well, why did they pay me this much? And we can try to help, decipher those one-on-one questions. The great news is one of the things that Medicarians this year, if you happen to attend, if you did not attend in our technology spot, that is something that Integrity is bringing out for agents and agencies, will be more of a commission management, CRM, agency management tool. But I don't think that it will be ready until, last quarter or beginning of 2026. So hopefully there is light at the end of the tunnel. We'll have a tool that will help you where you upload your statements and it kind of helps you see that at a glance.
Yes, coming soon.
Yes.
And then Alfreda asked, how can we get info on what you all will assist us with? That's a lot.
Yeah. And a lot of times I say, we don't put it in black and white because we have some like the highlights of what we offer. But we are customizable. And so if I say, hey, we'll do this, this, and this, but that's not what you need, then you think we don't do it. So I would say always just ask the question, is this something you guys can help me with? Because we want to meet you where you're at, and not every agent, not every agency needs the same support. And we want to come in and support you where you need to be supported. So ask the question and we'll try to help any way we can.
Yes, I like the customizable.
Yeah.
There is not like a one page that lists everything we can do.
No.
Because we probably don't even know what all we can do yet. Carolyn asked, would you do the 30, 60, 90-day calls? And Carolyn, I'm curious, like, are you asking this specifically like for client retention? Is that what you're talking about?
I would definitely, the more touch points that you have with your clients, if that's what you're talking about, absolutely. That, after AEP, just making sure that you are calling them, that you get your cards in the mail. All of there's certain triggers that you can do to call and ask, but I believe also in those 30, 60, 90, it's not just retention. Can you cross sell during those 30, 60, 90-day calls? So if you're not cross selling and adding other products to your clients, then that's a great opportunity for you to do that. But love the 30, 60, 90. I think it's amazing. I believe Galen Hendricks has a whole thing on 30, 60, 90
Yeah.
that we can, if you're contracted with us, we can give you open that access to that for you as far as her training as well.
Yes, we do have those videos, Carolyn, if you need them. I'm gonna say Deja. Hopefully I said that right. This is the one that she said that she was new and she asked who to contact. And so I know that you say contact us, but how do they contact us?
So you want me to give our phone? I feel
Yes.
like an infomercial, but
Yes.
please call us. You can call us. You can call us at 800-777-9322, or you can reach out to my email, jennifer@eisgroup.net, or info@eisgroup.net, and we can help you any way that we can.
Yes, and when you do call, there's not an automated recording. You're
Yeah.
gonna get a live person, and so if you're not sure like who to ask for, just say, what you're needing help with, and we all know who we would be to get you to.
Yes.
Carolyn had asked, could you help with a dental claim from last year for a client or other those kind of service items?
Yeah, we will absolutely try to see if we can help with any of those claim issues or anything like that. I would just say reach out to Amy or Tracy in my agent service department and give them the information, and we will certainly see if we can help with that.
Moon had asked a couple of questions. I'm gonna ask both of hers. So the first one is, can you please expand on the LEAD program? And the second one is, do we have the ability to write groups with our existing ACA contracting, or is it dependent on the carrier?
So group is dependent on the carrier. Not a lot of our carriers on the ACA side have group. We don't have a lot of group plans. I mean, I know one off the top of my head, I believe is out of the state of Illinois. So to answer your question, probably not with the contracts that we have, but we can check specifically if you have a specific carrier you want us to find out about. And then the LEAD programs, we have the in-house mailer where you pay for the postage, and we'll do a radius of a mail out of a T65, people turning 65 in certain areas. We'll print the letters, stuff them. They seem to work better with business cards. So you mail us your business card, we mail them out. We also have the LEAD program for every 13 MAs that you write, we'll do 1,000-piece drop. Every 13 med sups that you write, we'll do 1,000-piece drop or a reimbursement. So if you're, utilizing this for seminars or something like that, and you don't want to do a direct mail drop, you can send us a receipt and we'll reimburse you the same amount we would have paid for that 1,000-piece drop.
Yes, and hopefully that answers your question, Moon. Or if you're needing us to expand on any other details on a specific one, let us know which one. Bill had asked about getting his bio approved on the Integrity website. And I feel like I'm gonna answer this one.
Yeah.
So Integrity is having the plan enroll websites reviewed for compliance, and hopefully they will have those approved shortly. But you are not alone in that boat, Bill, I promise. Donna had asked, I recently went from independent contracting to corporation contracting and was initially under the impression that if the new business checking EFT info was provided in the corporation contract, that the EFT would be switched over, and it wasn't. And then I was told that I must go to each carrier website to change over the EFT account numbers.
So I'm not sure, I guess your question is that normal? And I'm gonna say it's gonna depend on the carrier. Which now when we record, when you go from an individual to a corporation, the unfortunate part about that is you do have to do on all new contracts. And I know, Donna, that you're through that process. I was actually talking to Julie about that about a week ago. And so every carrier is going to be different when we submit that. Some of them you have to fill out at a different. So I know, like UHC, for example, if you were an individual, then you're switching to a corporation, we actually have to do a separate form that is done for them to terminate your individual number and move everything to your corporation. At that time, it will move your commissions that you wrote as an individual underneath a corporation. So there is sometimes a little extra form, a little extra work to have to do to move those renewal business into your new account. So,
She said, oops, here's the question.
but
Is there someone at EIS that can take care of the EFT account changeovers?
It's gonna depend on the carrier. Some they're gonna require you to do them, but I would certainly reach out to Julie because I know she's been the one working with helping transition you as an individual over to a corporation, and she'll be able to submit any and tell you any additional forms that you need to sign or do for us to submit for those renewals to move over to your new account.
Okay. And then she also asked, so if we're building an agency with our agents, will our agents still have the same access and help for everything from EIS as I do? I love that question, Donna, and I can't wait for you to hear Jennifer's answer.
Absolutely. And that's the reason that you can be so successful is because you have full access if you want it. Now I'm going to say this. There are some uplines that don't want their downlines or agents or agents partners that work underneath them to know that there's someone like us between you and them. And we respect that. So, but I think it works better when they have full access to our agent service team, our contracting team, our marketers, all of those things. And we're never going to talk commission levels. They're your downline. We're going to require them to talk those questions with you. But they have full access to Adrian, Sarah, our technology, our trainings, all of those different things. And then there are some things that they don't have access to being a downline. But we would talk about those one off. There are some lead programs that downlines don't qualify for, that we could talk about, off of the webinar, and maybe once again, we're customizable. So we'll try to think of what you need and all that. But for the most part, you have full access to our team, a back office support that you're once again not having to pay for. So we welcome to talk to all of your agents that you bring on.
Yes, but you do have to let us know, right, if that is something that you're wanting or not.
Yes.
Because by default, we will not.
Yeah, because they're marked in our system as a downline, and we typically don't talk to downlines unless you give us permission to talk to them.
Yes.
So be sure to do that when you're bringing on a team.
Yes, and then Donna mentioned that Humana promotes the 30, 60, 90-day calling. And maybe that's something we look into because we have done trainings on client retention and everything for those. So maybe we just see if that's what you're missing.
Yeah.
Carolyn said, I was wondering if you would do that. I wanted to better understand what your service team could take off my plate. And I think that had to do with that dental claim.
Yep, we can.
Okay. Linus had asked, what does it cost to get the mailers for T65?
So only costs the postage. So I'll be honest with you, I think postage is what? 60
something cents now.
Yeah, 60 something cents. So we have a minimum of 500 that we will do because that's the amount of the box of envelopes that we have to order with your custom return address on there. So minimum of 500, and then it's just whatever the postage is right now. So let's say it's 60 cents. It's going to be 60 cents times 500 if you're only doing 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, well, that's all the questions I see coming through live so far. So remember, if you want to ask her anything live, put it in the question box now. But I do have some more questions that if you didn't ask them live, I was prepared. So a lot of agents want to cross-sell, but don't know where to start. What's your advice on identifying good cross-sell opportunities, especially with products like life or hospital indemnity?
So immediately when you were saying cross sell, a lot of you on this call sell Medicare Advantage, right? It's really what we're seeing out there. And if you're not selling a hospital indemnity with a Medicare Advantage, then you absolutely need to. You got to put some clothes on that baby. Don't submit a naked app. So learning how to cross sell with hospital indemnity, I know we've done lots of training on it that you can go back on our YouTube, or we can, we're always doing hospital indemnity trainings. There's tools, there's technology that helps you learn how to do that. And then I think just in natural, the cross sell opportunities are if you're selling a Medicare supplement, you're also adding a PDP to it. If you're selling, Medicare Advantage or Medicare supplement, are you adding a final expense to it? And then the big one is like a lot of your MedSup clients are your annuity clients. So if you're not selling annuities, you're probably missing out on uncovering a lot of that opportunity for you to be able to sell annuities. We have a great new program for agents that are just trying to learn how to sell annuities and incorporate that into your cross-selling, which is the LARC program. And it's taking someone that's completely green and bringing them all the way up. And then I have a saying for that you have to sell, life insurance to pay your bills, Medicare to build your retirement, and annuities to change your life. So let that sink in, because it is definitely true based on what you can do. But we're always talking cross sell. We always want to give you the opportunity to cross sell. There's many other products, DVH with a MedSup. I mean, I could sit here and go on all day long. But I think the reason agents don't cross sell, and I'll get off my soapbox, is fear of losing the sale that they've already got. So it's like if you pull up at McDonald's and they ask you if you want to add an apple pie, you're not going to get mad and say, no, I don't want my whole meal, and drive off. You just say no. So I think just asking the question and getting yourself in a habit of asking the question on how to uncover all those different things that you need. We have some tools. We always have a tool, which is a needs assessment form that we can share with everybody, where you can uncover all these things to cross sell. So
yes. Great advice. Thank you. This one is, what are some compliance reminders you think all agents need to hear this time of year?
Well, immediately, if when in doubt, scope it out.
Okay, I like that.
If you're selling Medicare Advantage, but now is the time if you're trying to get things geared up. I know it feels like we just went to sleep and it was AEP, and now we're about to get into those summer months where certifications are coming. I mean, rollouts, new states, expansions on the Medicare Advantage world. But utilize us once again to help with your compliance, making sure that you are using call recordings, because I know as I am seeing, some complaints that agents are having that are from the carriers coming in, and I would say 99% of them come back unfounded because that call recording is there and it can protect you. So utilizing the technology that you have, utilizing Eldercare for your compliance. Don't just put stuff out without letting it get checked through compliance to make sure that it is correct. Because the worst thing in the world is to get terminated because you did something that's not right. And we're here to help you.
When we could have helped you prevent that.
Yes, for sure.
There's some more questions coming through. So like I said, I know Zoom lags, so I'm gonna let y'all continue commenting your questions. You still have quite an audience on here, Jennifer. So I know we normally try to keep these to 30 minutes, but if you're okay with continuing? Okay. So Michelle had asked, is there somewhere on the Eldercare portal where I can see what carriers and states I can get contracted under Eldercare with?
Absolutely. So we have a carrier list on there that you can click on. Adrian might have to walk us through exactly where it's at on the website. If not, we can send it out in case you missed an email that we send out after this. We'll include that carrier list. The one thing I'm going to say about the carrier list is it's always changing. We're always adding. The great thing about our partnership with Integrity is that all of our partners out there might have regional carriers that before we didn't have access to that now we do. So if you don't see it on the list, please ask us the question and we will go get it if you need it. So.
And then we have another one, like which carriers are your favorite go-to for North Carolina and why? And so I love these kind of questions too, because this is exactly where we shine too.
Yeah. So we're going to be able to tell you, and I would need to know what product you're talking about, if that's Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage. We've got some great Medicare supplements out there, Woodman Life, ACE,
Hospital indemnity
hospital indemnity. So I would say,
is what she's asking.
okay, so Manhattan Life's hospital indemnity, their new product that they've come out with is really, really fantastic. If you write in the ACA space and the Medicare space, they have one that is designed for both. It's got some benefits that are built into the product that are typically riders on other products. So if you're not licensed with that Manhattan, let me tell you, they also do some amazing trips. So I think they're going to Greece this year, which I would love to go to. But I would say Manhattan GTL also has been a really, really stable hospital indemnity product in the market. Cigna and Aetna, I would say, are some of our standout products out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have a lot, and we can run quotes specifically for North Carolina if you need us.
Yes.
We have a lot of people interested in the LARC program. They want another cross-selling webinar. They want the needs assessment form.
Okay.
Marie, I also need to review what certifications I need and should be looking at now for AEP.
Yes, definitely. I think certifications are going to start rolling out in June. But I will tell you, if you're in a state like Georgia, where Clover was really, really prominent this year, Clover is about to close their 2025 certifications, which means you won't be able to, if you're not certified, you won't be able to sell any plans until AEP. So make sure that you, if you need to do your Clover certifications, you need to get that done before they close out. And off the top of my head, it's sometime in May. I don't remember. We'll be putting it out in an email. But we can give you a list and also look at maybe there's carriers you're missing that are in your area that you also need to grab prior to AEP. Being prepared, I would say certifications done, all sitting ready to go by September 1st will make it way less stressful on you. AHIP usually rolls out around the third week of June, so it'll be here before we know it.
Yes, it will. Stephen had mentioned that sorry if you were asking comments on Facebook Live, they're not loading on the computer, but I got him up here now. There were questions about like how quick does it take to get an answer from us? When will the Integrity platform have ACA? Is there anything new coming to it? What carriers are coming on board for 2026? Do you automatically notify them of new carriers? A lot of questions for you.
Yeah, so let me go back to the first one. How quick does it take to get an answer from us? And that's going to depend on what you're needing, right? Sometimes we're waiting on answers from the carriers and things like that. So there's not really a set time. We're going to tell you we got it. We're working on it, and we'll get back as fast as we get an answer from you. And sometimes it's a back and forth thing. And we'll get that as soon as we can for you. New technology coming, absolutely new things added to integrity.com Medicare Center this year. I'm always going to call it Medicare Center. But there are great things coming this year to that, and we're gonna be pouring on the webinars for those. Some new carriers coming out. I believe there is some new Medicare supplement carriers on the brink of coming out. There are some always there's new expansions for carriers. I think the only one that we've seen so far is Devoted. So they are expanding into new states. So really, as soon as we get this information, we're pumping it out, trying to get it out within a lot of times that day that we get it. Sometimes it's going to be within that week, we're going to get it out because we want knowledge is power and we want you guys to have that knowledge out there in the industry.
Yes, and I know this interview is with Jennifer, but I'm gonna add on to that, and I'm gonna say, make sure that you are receiving our emails.
Yes.
Because that's kind of the best way to get the information. We started doing a newsletter again, that lists a lot of that. So just make sure that you're opted in. It's the email info@eisgroup.net. Make sure that's in your safe senders and make sure you're getting that those
Yes,
emails.
and you haven't accidentally unsubscribed to our emails. Sometimes we can see if you've accidentally done that. We might have a marketer reach out. Hey, did you mean to unsubscribe from our emails? Because that is how we get information out as fast as we can as we're getting that information. So please make sure that you are getting our emails.
Yes. And Felicia said cross-selling is one of my weak spots. Also want to build up her med sup sales and annuity sales. Those sound like great goals. And I'm just going to go ahead and share this. By the way, Eldercare support is excellent. Never been let down by any team member. The phone recordings put Eldercare at the top of my list on the care and thought given to your agent's needs.
Well, thank you for that. It really means the world to us. It's the best compliment when I hear that our service is the heart of what we do. They really are because, I know everybody has experienced terrible service after the sale, whether that's been an automobile, a boat, all of the different things, but we don't want to be in that category because we want to help you. We don't want to just contract you and forget you, right? What good would that do? We want you to come back to us time and time again, and we truly want to be your partner in this industry. So thank you for that compliment.
Yes, and I guess they're continuing. Bill, Felicia, thank you so much. Y'all are going to make me cry. Okay, Bill said, not a question, but a compliment. I am trying to move all my contracts to EIS because of your fantastic support. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I think there's a few more questions coming through. Donna said, in light of all of the projected and possible CMS changes to Medicare, how badly is this going to affect our commissions, if at all, and our clients' benefits and premiums for both MAPD and MedSup?
I would say time would tell. I think we got some great news that the government has upped the reimbursement for our Medicare Advantage carriers this year, which I think we'll see some great things coming our way this year. The final rule came out. Nothing in the final rule had anything to say about agent commissions, compensation, anything like that. So I think we're sitting in a way better place than we were this time last year, as we were all trying to figure out the final rule. And so we will, as industry news comes out, we'll put that out to you. But I feel pretty confident that this year will be in a way better place than we were as far as trying to figure things out. Now, I don't know what that looks like on the PDP side. I think that was shook up quite a bit last year. Not really sure what that looks like. We're going to have to wait to see when the plans come out and all of that. So we'll all be sitting and waiting for that information.
Yes. I think we're still waiting on clarity of the rule. There's some more questions coming through about that. And as soon as we get that, we'll be getting it out to you for sure. Michelle, thank you for the info. Donna, what is the upped amount for MAPDs in North Carolina? So again, we'll follow up with specifics for you for sure.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any further live questions? Anything that you would want to know about how we do things, or anything that Jennifer has experienced? She has been in the business.
I've been in a business a while. I'm starting my 18th year in the business, and it's been a very great, rewarding experience. And on a personal note, my son is a sophomore in college, and my daughter is a senior in high school. I'm about to be a bird launcher, not an empty nester, as Melanie says, if you guys know Melanie. But he's changing his major this year, and he's just worried about how much money he's going to make when he gets out. Is he picking the right degree? And I told him, I said, forget about the money. The money will come. You got to find a get to job instead of a got to job. Right. And so I am so blessed to have a get to. I get to come to work every day and help as many agents as I can be successful, work with an amazing, amazing team that helps you guys be successful. So I feel like once you're in there's no better industry to be in than this industry. And I'm super blessed to be part of it. So
thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
And I'm blessed to be a part of it too, and to have you as my role model. So Leslie had said this has been awesome. And Leslie, we did receive your question about the Medicare Center platform and some updates coming. I know I've been submitting a lot of update requests, and I know they're listening. I just know a lot of the updates that they do release won't happen until closer to AEP. So anything that will change will be closer to AEP.
Yes.
And Lucy said, I want to say thank you for all of the assistance I've received from the Eldercare team. And Leslie said it's also been motivating. And I'm so happy you brought this up, Moon. What are the conference colors this year so I can get my outfits together?
Ooh. They are blue and gold are our colors this year. Navy and gold is what I would say, more towards that. And if you haven't caught on to our theme this year, it's a pretty cool theme, but I'm gonna kind of try to keep it under wraps until we got a little video project going to be happening. It's going to be fantastic. If you guys haven't registered for our big AEP kickoff, it's probably going to be the best one yet.
Oh, yes.
I'm just saying it's going to be the best one yet. So it's September 17th and 18th right here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Absolutely come. It's one of the best, I would say, out there. Lots of collaboration, getting to spend 2 days with all of you guys. So get yourself registered and come see us in September.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Moon.
Yes.
So we could remind everyone to come to our conference.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions coming through. Is there any last things of advice that you want to share with everyone, Jennifer?
I would say is, once again, we just want to be your partner, right? We want to help you grow. We want to help you in whatever avenue it is. And don't be afraid to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask. If you ask, you'll never know. The worst thing is we can say is no, right? Is that we can't help in that department. But we a lot of times try to come from a place of yes and try to help you guys any way that we can. Please reach out to our team. Please reach out to me. I would love to have conversations if you guys need some different answers. You have my email address. I'll say it again, Jennifer@eisgroup.net. I'm always happy to help. Love working with you guys. I get to work with you. So thank you for that. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and weekend.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Jennifer, for taking the time.
Thank you.